There is a legend on the show tonight, Jane Fonda, who has won 2 Oscars and been arrested many times for her work to protect human rights. Please welcome Jane Fonda to the Stars Rewind channel. Jane Fonda is not only a famous actress who has won 2 Oscars and many other prestigious awards, but she is also a symbol of strength, innovation, and unwavering dedication. At age 87, Jane has been through a journey full of ups and downs, challenges, and brilliant moments of triumph. Jane Fonda has always been admired for her bravery in facing challenges, from the hurts of her childhood and her difficult relationship with her father to troubled marriages and a cancer diagnosis in her later years. She has triumphed not only on screen but also as a strong woman fighting for social justice, environmental protection, and injustice, which still amazes the world at the age of 87. Join us as we look at her glorious career, her hidden struggles, and her untold resilience. Early life. Jane Fonda was born on December 21, 1937 in New York City into a famous family. But behind that glamorous image were hidden flaws that not many people knew about her father, Henry Fonda. Henry was a Hollywood screen icon who played many roles of honesty and strength on screen. In real life, though, Henry was cold and distant. He rarely showed his feelings and always kept his distance from his children. This made a complicated relationship between the two. Jane wanted her father's love and attention, but didn't know how to get it. Jane's mother, Frances Ford Seymour, was a beautiful and wealthy woman, but she had deep psychological wounds. Frances was under a lot of stress from life and from a husband who was always distant. Her mental health problems, including depression and emotional instability, had a lasting effect on Jane's childhood, making her often feel alone and abandoned, even though her father was cold. She spent her whole life trying to live up to his expectations and even became an actress to connect with him. One of the most important and meaningful moments for Jane was when she and her father acted together in the movie Golden PM. In an emotional scene, Jane went beyond the script to reach Henry's heart, and it was the first time Jane felt a real connection with her father. It was a moment of reconciliation between two people who had been estranged for a long time. At age 12, Jane was hit hard when her mother Frances killed herself after years of struggling with mental illness. For Jane, it was an irreplaceable loss that deeply affected her mind and outlook on life. At first, Jane's father told her that her mother had died of a heart attack, but it wasn't until much later that she read the truth in a newspaper article. Not knowing the real cause of her mother's death along with the sudden loss made Jane feel guilty all the time, wondering if there was anything she could have done to help her mother. Jane's emotional trauma as a child affected every part of her life, from her relationships to how she saw herself. She always felt unworthy of love and needed approval from others, especially the men in her life. But through her losses and sorrows, Jane learned to rise, finding inner strength and becoming the strong woman the world admires. She went on to have a successful career in important roles. Jane Fonda wanted to get away from the shadows of her past and get her father's attention, so she decided to become an actress. Acting became not only her career, but also a way for her to express herself, deal with her traumas, and find her worth in life. Jane's career was a series of dramatic changes, from a glamorous Hollywood icon to a renowned actress and fearless social activist. Jane Fonda began her career with iconic roles that at times made women look like objects. One of her most important roles was in the 1968 movie Barbarella, which was directed by her then-husband Roger Vadim. The movie became a symbol of the 1960s, with Jane wearing racy costumes that made her a sex goddess of Hollywood. However, Jane felt conflicted about the image she was making, since she was making a seductive figure that didn't really reflect the values and freedom she sought. Barbarella was a mix of feminism and objectification. On the one hand, Jane's character was given the power to pilot her spaceship and save a planet. On the other hand, the story was about her sexually charged adventures. The revealing clothes and sensual portrayal made Jane feel like she had to fit a stereotype she didn't want to live up to. Jane said she had to drink to get through filming such daring scenes. This made Jane realize she needed a change, so she left her marriage to Vadim and moved back to the U.S. to start a new chapter in her life and career. Jane Fonda's transformation was clear when she starred in They Shoot Horses, Don't They? 1969, a film very different from Barbarella because it was about the hopelessness of people competing in a dance marathon during the Great Depression. Jane played a struggling, desperate woman who entered the contest just to make money but ended up committing suicide. This was the first time Jane really felt she loved acting and found meaning in her work because she got to explore deep issues of society and humanity. This role not only showed how great she was as an actress, but it also showed how much she cared about people. Not only did it earn her her first Oscar nomination, but it also marked a big turning point in her career. Jane Fonda wasn't just a beauty icon, she was also a talented actress who could play a wide range of roles. Her first big success came when she played a prostitute named Bree Daniels in the psychological thriller Clute, 1971. To do well in this role, Jane had to do a lot of research and really become the character, and she did so with amazing authenticity and complexity. She won her first Oscar for her role in The Lady in the Dark, which showed how good an actress she was and how ready she was to change her image. At the 1972 Oscars, Jane made a statement by wearing a black suit with a Mao collar, not to show off her wealth, to protest the Vietnam War. At a time when Hollywood was full of fancy dresses, Jane's choice was a strong political statement that showed she was more than just a movie star, a woman ready to use her voice and image to fight for what she believed in. In the 1978 movie Coming Home, she played a woman who falls in love with a Vietnam War veteran who has suffered terrible mental injuries. Coming Home was not only a love story, but also a strong statement against war and about the effects of war. To accept the award, Jane prepared a speech in sign language to help the deaf community, which is often overlooked at big events like the Oscars. This was one of her most impressive performances. Events that showed how much she cared about weak people, and Jane was also well aware of how she wanted to use her fame to make a difference. The comedy 9 to 5, 1980, in which she starred with Lily Tomlin and Dolly Parton, was one of the most popular comedies of the 1980s. It showed how hard it was for female office workers to deal with harassment and unfair treatment at work. Jane was clearly committed to promoting women's rights, as she not only starred in the movie but also started the project based on the stories of female office workers. The movie was a big hit, making people laugh, while also talking about serious social issues that not many people were willing to talk about: personal life and marriages. After becoming famous as an actress and winning many awards, Jane Fonda faced many problems in her personal life. She got married to Roger Vadim in 1965, just as her acting career was starting to take off. Vadim was a French-Russian director known for his free-spirited and bohemian way of life. Jane became a sensual icon in the 1960s when she directed Barbarella. However, her marriage to Vadim was full of problems and disagreements. Vadim believed in free love and suggested an open marriage, which Jane reluctantly agreed to at the time. At that time, Jane didn't really understand herself, so she always tried to please her husband, thinking that giving in to Vadim's demands was the only way to keep their marriage together. However, Vadim's freedom hurt Jane deeply, leaving her feeling lonely and disrespected. Vadim also often asked Jane for money to pay off his gambling debts, and she even had to use her mother's inheritance to help him get by financially. Jane once said that having to accept things against her will in a marriage made her shut down and lose her voice. Eventually, when she could no longer live in emotional pain and compromise, Jane decided to get a divorce in 1973. She and Vadim stayed friends and co-parented their daughter Vanessa. This was also the first time Jane realized that love can't exist. Jane's second marriage was to Tom Hayden, a famous political activist who shared her desire to fight for social justice. They got married in 1973, not long after Jane divorced Vadim. Both Hayden and Jane were passionate about politics and wanting to change society. Jane gave up her seductive image as Barbarella to become a strong feminist activist, fully committing herself to Hayden's political ideas. She became the family's main source of income by acting, and at that time, Jane Fonda was making her famous workout tapes. She became a leader in the home exercise movement when she released her first workout video, Jane Fonda Workout. This wasn't just a business project, it was also a way for her to make money to support Hayden's political campaigns, especially to start and run the organization Campaign for Economic Democracy. At first, Jane didn't think the video would be such a hit, she just wanted to give people an easy and effective way to work out at home. But the video came out at the perfect time because more and more people were looking for home fitness activities. With clear instructions and a friendly tone, Jane Fonda's workout quickly became a hit and became the best-selling home fitness video of all time. It was the first workout video to reach such a high level of success, and it helped make Jane Fonda an icon of the fitness movement, especially for women. Her workout videos have inspired millions of people around the world, not only improve their health, but also started a movement for a happier and more confident way of life. Being successful and a devoted wife wasn't enough for Tom Hayden and Jane Fonda. Their relationship wasn't perfect. Tom often didn't agree with how Jane did in social situations and planned to criticize her efforts. This made Jane feel like she was never good enough and had to work extra hard to be accepted. When Hayden fell in love with another woman, Jane was deeply hurt. That's when she realized it was time to break free from the restrictions of an unhappy marriage. The marriage ended in 1991, which was the start of a new era of independence and freedom for Jane. Her last marriage was to Ted Turner, the founder of CNN, in 1991. Ted Turner was powerful and stubborn, so Jane had to give up her career to focus on being his wife. She stopped acting, stopped being involved in politics, and tried to be the perfect wife that Ted wanted her to be. Jane tried to change, even giving up her values and passions to please her husband. But after years of giving in, she slowly realized she was losing herself as a strong, independent, and passionate woman. In the end, she decided to divorce Ted in 2001, even though it was hard for them to be apart. Jane and Ted stayed friends, and Jane Fonda said that if she had stayed, she would never have been able to become the fulfilled person she wanted to be. Self-awareness. After her breakup with Ted Turner, Jane decided she would no longer depend on anyone else to give her value. She said she felt truly free and didn't need anyone else to validate her. She turned down any new romantic relationships and focused on finding joy in independence, being an activist for gender equality and protecting the environment. Jane said that living on her own helped her become a complete woman because she wasn't limited by other people's standards or expectations. Jane Fonda came a long way. By changing her ideas about love and independence, Jane realized that her worth didn't come from what other people thought of her, but from what she did and how she contributed to society through her passion. Even now, at age 87, Jane continues to dedicate herself to the world and live her life to the fullest. She has always shown a strong ability to reinvent herself, constantly renewing her identity. After ending her marriage to Ted Turner, Jane Fonda decided to return to her passion for acting, which was a brave decision because she had been away from acting for a long time. Focusing on her family and playing the wife of one of the most powerful men in America for 15 years, Jane once thought her acting career was over and that she would never get the chance to go back to Hollywood. But in 2005, she got the chance to play a part in the comedy Monster-in-Law with singer and actress Jennifer Lopez. Jane's role in Monster-in-Law was a great comeback, and the movie helped her win back the hearts of audiences. Jennifer Lopez played a difficult and sneaky mother-in-law that made the movie funny and created a rivalry between the two. This contrast was one of the movie's biggest draws and helped it become one of the year's biggest hits. Jane said she chose Monster-in-Law on purpose so that young people would come to see it for Jennifer Lopez, but then fall in love with Jane Fonda. The movie did even better than she expected and helped Jane regain her joy and passion for acting after a breakup. Monster-in-Law, Jane continued to make a name for herself in the entertainment industry with a new project, working with Lily Tomlin on the comedy series Grace and Frankie 2015. Jane and Lily had known and worked with each other since 1980, when they both started working at 9 to 5, and their relationship had grown into a close friendship. When producer Marta Kaufman, co-creator of the hit show Friends, asked Jane and Lily to join Grace and Frankie, they were both excited and ready for a new adventure. Grace and Frankie is about two middle-aged women, Jane Fonda as Grace and Lily Tomlin as Frankie, as they go through a big change in their lives when they find out that their husbands are in love with each other and decide to get married. The show made people laugh, but it also had deep messages about friendship, love, and dealing with changes in life. Jane and Lily did a great job of playing two very different characters who become best friends. Grace was classy and elegant, and Frankie was free-spirited and bohemian. Grace and Frankie was Netflix's longest-running comedy series and was loved by people of all ages. The show not only made people laugh, but it also served as an inspiration for many older women, showing that life can still be colorful and exciting at any age. Jane said that being in the show was not only a way for her to return to acting, but also a way to show that age doesn't have to stop you from being creative. Her friendship with Lily Tomlin was also a big part of helping her keep up her passion, feel loved and supported in her life and career. In September 2022, Jane Fonda announced that she had been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a type of cancer that is fairly common in the United States. She did this on her personal page, which shocked everyone but also praised her calm and positive attitude. Jane said she would be going through chemotherapy for 6 months and was sure that the disease could be cured. 80% of people with non-Hodgkin lymphoma survive. Jane wrote that she felt lucky to have insurance and be treated by the best doctors, which is something that not everyone in America has. Instead of panicking or getting depressed, Jane Fonda faced her illness with strength. She saw it as a teacher that helped her learn how to deal with life's challenges, especially as she got older. Jane shared that the disease helped her understand how fragile life is and how important it is to cherishing every moment. For Jane, cancer was not only a physical challenge, but also a deep spiritual lesson in how we deal with and adapt to things we can't change. Even though she was dealing with a major problem like cancer, Jane Fonda said she wouldn't let it stop her from doing social things and environmental projects. Instead of resting and focusing only on treatment, Jane continued to work on environmental protection and human rights campaigns. She is sure that no one should have to go through this. She can still make a difference in the world and contribute to society no matter what. One thing that makes Jane Fonda truly unique is her empathy and compassion for others. In her blog post about her illness, Jane wrote about how heartbreaking it was to think of families who were not as fortunate to have access to the kind of medical care she did. She knew that she was one of the few people who could get high-quality care, which made her want to do more to promote equality in cancer. Jane Fonda is a strong and resilient person who refuses to let her age, illness, or any other limitations stop her from living a full and meaningful life. She slowly got better and continued her career, not afraid to try new things she had never done before. Most recently, her inspiring catwalk performance at the age of 87, full of grace and shimmer, captivated millions of viewers and left a strong impression on the public on September 23, 2024. At one of the biggest fashion shows in the world, Jane stole the show as she walked the runway with confidence and charm, along with young models like Kendall Jenner and Cara Delevingne. Even though she was the oldest star on the runway that day, Jane was no less beautiful or charismatic than the younger models. Jane chose a sporty outfit with a shimmering silver long coat and sneakers, which was both stylish and comfortable. She walked with grace, confidence, and a lot of energy. People in the audience cheered and applauded loudly as Jane Fonda walked down the catwalk. As she reached the end of the runway, she winked at the crowd, showing that she was friendly and approachable, making it a memorable moment that thrilled fans. Not only did her live performance on stage leave a strong impression, but soon after, Jane Fonda's photos on the catwalk received thousands of compliments and praise from people online, and thousands of people commented on them, admiring her and recognizing her as a lasting icon. Wow, almost 87 years old and still rocking the runway, one Instagram user wrote, and many others said they got chills seeing her shine. Every step Jane Fonda takes is proof that true confidence and beauty come from living an honest life and never giving up on your dreams. Jane Fonda has a unique view on death. She doesn't fear it, she sees it as a new adventure. In an interview, she said that if she had to face death right now, she would accept it. Serenity once thought she wouldn't make it past 30 years old, so the fact that she is still alive and able to contribute to life at 87 is a miracle to her. Jane sees death as a normal part of life that everyone has to deal with, but what she fears most is the regrets that come from not having enough time to make things right. Jane is afraid that when her life ends, there will still be things she hasn't done, relationships she hasn't fixed, and words she hasn't said. This is what drives her to always live to the fullest, fix past mistakes, and spend quality time with the people she loves. Looking back, one of Jane's biggest regrets is not being a better mother when her kids were younger. She said she wasn't a perfect mom because she was busy with acting and social events and didn't spend enough time with her kids. She remembered when her son Troy asked her, "Why did you even become a mom?" This made her realize she had missed many important moments in her life. But Jane also strongly believes that it's never too late. She is trying to make up for her mistakes by spending more time with her kids and building a stronger bond with them. For Jane, admitting and recognizing her mistakes is the first step toward change and improvement. She has learned to become a better mother in her later years, which has given her the happiness and fulfillment she missed when she was younger. Jane Fonda also feels lucky that she was able to open her before Henry Fonda died in 1982. Jane told her father that she loved him and forgave him for what he did or didn't do for her. She also asked him to forgive her for not being a perfect daughter. That moment was truly magical because Jane saw her father cry for the first time, which was something she had never seen before. It was an incredibly emotional moment and a gift to Jane. She realized that forgiveness and reconciliation not only brought peace to herself but also to others. Jane Fonda knows that life is too short to hold grudges and unfinished business with people she loves, so she always tries to make peace with them and not leave anything unfinished. Jane's message about death and regret is a powerful lesson on how to live. To love, forgive, give, and not leave anything undone when life ends. If Jane Fonda's story touched you, please share your thoughts and feelings in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to the station if you want to see more moving videos about the lives of other stars you love. See you in the next video.